in April things just get 10 times worse, because people that get disability living allowance start to be reassessed with personal independent payments. So that is a whole vast load of changes that were put through the Parliament, and it was meant to be like people could walk 50 metres, but behind the scenes they've changed that and they've now made it 20. So you've got people that maybe are on the highest rate of mobility, that for anybody to actually even physically come out the front door and walk to their gate will be stripped to their benefits. It's absolutely ridiculous, and this is, let me be rest assured, this is a kill for money. It's nothing to do with all these folk didn't need their benefits anymore. It's just absolutely atrocious. But on the top of that, LASBO was just the justice bill that went through, and the first bit in it is anybody that's going to go for first stage tribunal or employment appeals not get legal aid anymore. So that's another effect on people having to challenge the system, so to speak, because that takes that out of the ball game. So where I've been running about doing a lot of work that I never took employment appeals or tribunals or anything before, because CAB and all that done that, but in the last couple of years the work's got that intense and that much that CAB were fit for bursting. They couldn't take on half the work, so I ended up having to do that too, because before that all the time capability hearings and employment tribunals and appeals, I never done a benefit appeals, but I ended up being thrust with all this work on me, which didn't get me wrong, I'll do it, and even when you can't get legal aid, I've never claimed for to take anybody's appeal or the tribunal and claim for legal aid anyway. I've done it all free, but at the end of the day, even the Scottish Government money that's been dished out there are gone to the wrong organisations, because the minute they didn't get their legal aid, they'll stop taking appeals. And CABs already in England are shutting, and CAB and Falkirk and that have stopped taking appeals. And this is CAB? Before it happens, Citizens Advice Bureaus. So they're already fit for bursting. So if you can imagine the antics, just somebody that has disability living allowance, say they have high mobility and they maybe have low care or something, well, the low tier's gone right out of the PIP in the first place, so they would lose that. But anybody that's perceived to be pushed off, that aren't entitled to any more, they'll not get a penny for the day that they say that they've been assessed and they're no needing it anymore. They'll be stripped of their disability living allowance, they'll have their mobility cards taken off them, they'll lose their blue badges, they'll lose their, they'll have like a concession where they pay less for their council tax and things like that. They all have a knock-on effect, and they didn't get any money for to live on until that appeal goes through, and that appeal can take up to 18 months. Folk have already been kind of pushed into this trap now, for others saying that PIP doesn't start until April. I can assure you, the last year, the amount of folk that are getting knocked off disability living allowance on the run up to this has been growing. And I would seriously like to talk to a lot of other folk around the country that have started to see theirs rise too. And I'm really thinking behind the scenes, if this has been rising stagnantly all over the country, before this happens, this is just to kind of dilute what the impact would actually look at when it comes to April, because they're already taking a huge amount of folk off it beforehand. I'm trying to get at it. So what are folk going to do? Folk are just need a bit of hope, And it's a terrible thing to say that maybe with all the demonstrations for the bedroom tax, for welfare reform and everything, maybe we'll actually get a lot of community spirit out of it. Folk will actually come back into communities and realise that, well, I was working one day last week, but my boss came in and paid me off, so now I'm meant to be a skiver too. What I'm trying to say? So everybody maybe grasp that, because right now there's that much damage being done with the government telling lies, and the media are the worst ones. The Daily Mail and that are absolutely terrible with all the lies that they've told about folk. And just a disgrace. The last person last week I think was Bolton. Now he was assessed by Atos as fit for work, and they've took his money off him. And he had a brain tumour that left him with a brain injury, and then he had like deep vein thrombosis, so they had to amputate his left leg too. So they've took his money off him, and the reason that they took his money off him was they assessed him that he was to go to some work experience 127 miles away from his house. Now, he's not got a mobility card or anything like that because they've stopped all his benefits. So how was he to legally get 127 miles away from his house? So that's why they've stopped his benefits. It's just one sanction upon sanctions. But going back to the carry on that lawyers fought that in a court, and won that they proved that the government was wrong with these sanctions, and that should be upheld, not for the government to go back behind the scenes and seek amendments for other parties for to go back and change the wording in that, for to go back and do, or they fork out the money. And it is their money, because it was their money that was taken off them through these sanctions. And we've proved, last Thursday there was a report out the DWP website that we've proved that job centres themselves, folk in government departments are leaking us out information. They're sitting in job centre plus organisations all over the country and firing out the information to half us activists, telling us what's happening behind the scenes. Ken, we've heard for a wee while about, last year there was a brief talk about problem families within the Parliament for a while. It was in the papers for a wee while, Nothing more said about it, but there's leaks coming with inside half the places saying, watch, it's going to happen. They're going to start looking at families and hitting social workers and taking bairns off families. Getting social workers to go and take bairns out for to buy them clothes and things like that and gain folk vouchers rather than food. They went on for a wee while about the care system. The care system wouldn't work, because if there's somebody that's going to get £50 on this care instead of getting Monday, and they want it for something else, they'll just sit outside the co-op and sell it to somebody else £10 cheaper. They'll still get the cash. What I'm saying? It doesn't make any difference. It's about there's loads of other ways that could be looked at for the redress. In the very same back to work scheme bill, one of them was going on about everybody that comes to Britain, all these businesses that come to Britain should be paying their taxes and doing something else. So why are they not chasing Google for their taxes? Why are they not chasing Amazon for their taxes? And why are they not getting the money back off the bankers that they bailed them out with? I'm saying, they're the folk that turn society on its head. Not the most vulnerable in society. Folk can't take much more. But in the same time they can't take much more, it's maybe taking that for to make folks so angry that I really think collectively, if everybody, see, there's so much division coming for the government right now, they're being very clever about their policy, how to split and divide everybody up, because they're putting elderly against young folk, because they're saying, well, should the young folk get it or should the older folk get it? They're putting black against white, they're putting disabled against non-disabled, they're putting workers against non-workers. Until we actually all knock our heads together and say, well, doesn't matter what they're doing to you, it's not right. Doesn't matter what you're doing to you, it's not right. Till we all actually come together and link together and work together and fight the lot of them on their turf, we would win. Because we're who elected them into power, and if the whole country takes to the streets and says, nah, we can overturn them, because the Parliament's run and set up for to work for the people, and we can outweigh all the politicians that are in that Parliament. We could turn it on its head. It's a terrible thing to say, but my God Almighty, it's seriously time there was a revolution, and it has to happen now.